Hello, my name is Ramon. Thank you for watching my presentation. My topic is about the perceptions of elected and appointed clerks in Illinois, Michigan, and Wisconsin. Maybe some of you are not familiar with my topic, but once I finish my presentation, you will have a better understanding of the components of voter education programs and how it impacts voter participation in elections. Despite all the efforts done by scholars and election administrators, as we all know, voter turnout remains low throughout the United States. Minorities and lower socioeconomic citizens are among those voting less frequently than other groups, such as whites and citizens of higher socioeconomic status. And evidently, their lack of participation often excludes them from being represented in public policy. In general, low voter turnout affects the perception of government and electoral legitimacy essential to the well-functioning of the political system. It also affects the political representation of citizens in general, which is essential to understand citizen needs and make policies that satisfy and help policymakers to make policies that satisfy those needs. Now moving to the research problem. Uh, the average turnout in presidential elections is a few points above 50%, in midterms elections 40%, and in local elections 25%, and often lower than 25. Therefore, clerks have the skills, knowledge, and relationship with the communities they serve to provide data to improve voter education programs and voter participation in elections. Next is the purpose statement. At this point, I believe that the most appropriate research approach uh, is to conduct multiple case studies. I am planning to interview 30 clerks to gather enough data to answer my two research questions. Research question number one reads, how do elected and appointed clerks perceive voter education efforts as increasing voter participation in elections? And research question number two reads, what strategies might elected and appointed clerks do to improve voter education? Moving to the significance of the problem, this study will expand the understanding of clerks' views as it relates to voter education programs. The study also will generate new literature to increase understanding of this phenomenon, low voter turnout, and new strategies to approach voter education and close the existing gap in the public administration, election administration literature. Now we move to chapter 2, the literature review. In this section, I discuss the participation needs and challenges as it relates to electoral participation and voter education of racial and minority groups, the youth, the elderly, voters with disabilities, and voters' educational attainment, and how education impacts voters' decision making. The next section of the literature review focuses on voter education definitions and how these definitions impact voter education efforts. And I suggest that the voter education definition should be stated on the Help America Vote Act of 2002. Uh, This would help states to become more efficient and effective when planning and implementing voter education programs. And also defining voter education would provide a clear direction to clerks when planning and implementing voter education programs. And now let's move to the theory part. I will use the general system theory to interpret, explain, and analyze the data. The father of this theory was Ludwig von Bertalanffy, and was originated in 1950 and applied to biology, physics, and economics. But this theory can also be applied to organisms and human behavior in other disciplines, uh, such as public administration. The theory focuses on the interaction between the environment, the social organization, and humans as part of the organization. The main principle of the theory lays on the interdependency of each part of the system, establishing that each part of the system is necessary in order for the system to function uh, efficiently and effectively. Uh, I also present a logic model, a model that can be used uh, to measure the performance of programs, in this case, voter education programs, based on input, activities, outputs, and outcomes. Let's move on to present chapter 3, the methodology section. This study employs a qualitative case study research methodology using semi-structured interviews to collect the views of the clerks about voter education programs. Also, I use secondary data uh, collected from peer-reviewed articles, books, and government documents to understand the phenomenon from different perspectives. And the population will be elected and appointed clerks from Illinois, Michigan, and Wisconsin. Uh, I chose these states to collect my data uh, because I have to maintain ethical standards and avoid any appearance of conflict of interest with my professional practice in New Jersey. So my decision to conduct my study out of New Jersey will increase the study's internal validity. The sample size will be 30 city clerks elected and appointed, 10 from each state. And this is because my topic is understudied, and the data available is very limited. Therefore, for this study, the larger the sample, the better. We continue presenting the methodology section. These states are hours away from New Jersey, and the best mean to uh, conduct the interviews is via video conference, via Zoom. Uh, the first step is to contact the municipal clerks associations of each state to establish contact with potential participants. Once clerks are contacted and agree to participate in the study, the interview coordination will be via email. These interviews will take place during 8 weeks, and once the data is collected, the descriptive coding process will begin. This is the last part of my presentation. There is no perfection on the face of the earth, and my study is not the exception. Uh, this study has two limitations. The interviews will be conducted using electronic devices, which can malfunction inadvertently. And second is the clerk's response rate. Thank you for watching my presentation. Uh, God bless you all.